diabetic capital of the world. But why? Is it genetics, is it sugar, or something in our lifestyle that we completely ignore? To understand this, I started researching diabetics. And what I discovered completely shocked me. So hi, I'm Prajwalas, a medical student studying medicine. So I wanted to understand diabetics in the simplest way as possible. Not from a complicated textbooks, but from a real patient and real stories. So how? So I went to the hospital, looked at the patient's record who are having diabetics. But before we go further, I have to tell you something important. My father also has diabetics. But yet his blood sugar is always in the normal range. So I asked him a question that most people ask the doctors. How are you controlling it so well? Before we get the answer to that question, let's understand diabetics in the simplest way as possible. So your body needs energy. Where do you get the energy from? Carbohydrates. So for example, rice. You're having rice, that's a carbohydrate that converts to glucose and enters into the bloodstream. And now the glucose is inside the bloodstream. Now it should enter into the cell. To that to happen, it requires a key. The key is nothing but insulin that is released by pancreas. Now as soon as the glucose enters into the cell, it undergoes a process called glycolysis. And after it undergoes the glycolysis, it enters into the mitochondria and converts to ATP. The ATP is nothing but energy. That's how your body gets the fuel. So now you understood the concept that how your body gets the fuel. So how does this concept is related to diabetics? Simple. To understand this, you need to understand the type 1 and type 2 diabetes. It's very simple, trust me. The type 1 diabetes. This happens when your own body immune system destroys the cells which produce insulin. So when there is no insulin, the glucose can't enter into the cell. So the glucose increases in the bloodstream. So diabetes. That's type 1 diabetes. But this is not the most common type of diabetes. The most common type of diabetes is the type 2 diabetes. Here the body still produces the insulin, but our body resists the insulin. Because of this, the glucose will stay in the bloodstream again. So glucose level increases. Diabetes. Why does the type 2 diabetes happen? The type 1 happens because of the autoimmune cell. But why does the type 2 happen? Because of unhealthy diet, lack of exercise, obesity, stress, poor lifestyle. So on to the questions. Why India is called the diabetic capital of the world? There are several reasons, but one of the most common reasons is high carbohydrate diets. Okay, so how do you control this? Do you have any solution? It's easy. Instead of having a high rice quantity in your diet, just switch your plate like this, where you have a rice, chicken for protein, rice is carbohydrates, and lot of veggies, and sweet potato is another complex carbohydrates, and cucumber is for hydration, and it's a pretty much it. Now, how do you eat this plate? For example, if you're having a spoon of rice, you also have a spoon of veggies, and also a spoon of chicken. If you're eating like this, your health will be like really good. You know what I mean? Now coming back to my father, even though he has diabetes, his sugar level always is very controlled. How? So when I asked him what does he do very differently from others, he told me that he follows a program. So after hearing this from my father, I researched a lot about this program, and the idea behind this program is to strictly control the carbohydrates in your diet and focus on more protein and healthy fats. And many people saw the very good results from this program. The final message, that one thing that became very clear after all this research is the type 1 diabetics cannot be prevented because it's an autoimmune. But the type 2 diabetics, which is the most common, it's largely a lifestyle based. This means that many cases can be prevented or controlled through proper diet, regular exercise, weight control, and routine healthy checkups. You know what I mean? So if your parents having diabetics, don't panic. With proper food habits and healthy lifestyle, it can be controlled very well. Sometimes the best medicine, it's not in the pharmacy. It's on your plate and in our daily habits.
Okay. We understood diabetics. But I always wanted to ask you a question. How much expense does it cost you to stay in Vietnam?
So how much does it cost me staying outside? Next video.